telephone number if any of you would like to contact him, but about anything, because he was in on this from the beginning. But he did tell me that our courthouse maintenance costs have decreased since the overall renovation. Why? Because we have better air conditioning, we have more air efficient. He told me all kinds of things about the plumbing, how much we'd saved on water, and on and on and on. So if you think you're saving money by not doing this, you're actually spending more. Many of you have an old house. You know that old houses have old problems, and this is not getting better.
Yeah, I think when it was cold, they were taping up the windows on the north side. Right? Weren't they taping the windows up?
And I will look forward to talking to you in this picture
Yes, sir.
about this and see what we can work out.
Very good.
I will inform you that I know it will not be before June 1st that they could start anything on this building. And I suspect it'll be August 1st before they get started work on it. That's not official, but it is almost official till June 1st with the records that I have for the days requested.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
And it hasn't been going very fast, and I don't see how they're going to speed it up this time.
Will you be formally modifying the contract for the annex to reflect that new completion date at any near point in the future?
The contract of that, well, we're not, we have just an ongoing contract. We don't modify the contract, it's just ongoing.
But usually for the completion date.
Well, they have, the architect gives an estimated completion date, and then they apply for more days. And like I said, I gave them 5 days for freeze days. And then they add 4%, 4/10 to that, they get 7 days. So, and then they had some more requests for rainy days in December and January before I took over as manager, coordinator of the project. So the day is almost up to June 1st right now. And they, so my estimate is August 1st before we can occupy the building, by the time they get completed and we get things done. That's my personal estimate. As slow as it's gone and the way I see things going. They ran out of brick. I don't know how many days they're going to get for that, but they don't have any brick. It's taking at least 2 weeks, and they take longer than that before you get the brick done. So they can't go on.
Well, sir, we always knew that we would be starting this project when that project is completed. So if that's what needs to happen, and it is that amount of time before you complete that project, my office is willing to modify our schedule for our funding agreement.
I did come in the building last Monday. It was a holiday, and we were doing some work here and came in with a laser level, but we couldn't get it. I was going to try to take some grade shots around the floors and see what the elevation differences are. We know their elevation differences, and I wanted to see what they were, which would not be as accurate as the engineers have taken. I'm not in that business, but I can get an idea if it's 2 inches lower there, or 3 inches lower, or 1 inch, or whatever it is. But still, I still have the problem of tearing off the best part that's not cracked up and not stabilizing the foundation of this. That's really a problem in my mind. I've been doing this for 50 years. I mean, not in this scope, not in this size, but residences and other buildings. And so I have a general knowledge of what construction is. I'm not just, just like someone, and it's not my intention to stop this, to let the courthouse fall down. It's not my intention to bulldoze down. That's never been my intention. I came to the judge January 5th and he said, how do I get that rusty door closer fixed on the front of this building? And she looked at me and smiled, and I said, who's in charge of maintenance? She said, you are. So I got a price on the front door closer and repairing the front doors, and got new hinges put on, and I got that done. I'm not for letting this thing fall apart. It's a disgrace to have it look like it is. And if we can fix it up, I'll try to help get it fixed up.
Sir, if you generally agree with this phase, we do have a contract with MJ Boyle that they've requested that I mentioned that needs to be modified. As you know, the current date for that contract calls them to start March 1st.
That's not the agenda, we won't do anything about that tonight. It's gonna go over here, it's gonna be
Okay.
postponed, we can talk about it there. Can we do it there?
Okay, yes. But then the only other thing I have is that for our grant, the Round 6 grant award that we gave Karnes County, we have a set of instructions for implementing the grant. And Judge, I'd like to give this grant manual to you.
Thank you.
And everything should be clear there, but I'm available to answer questions.
That's the master
Thank
plan.
you.
Sharon, I have one more.
This is a grant manual
I'm
for
sorry,
administering the Round 6 grant. The master plans are here, and I have forwarded the funding agreement and the easement to the county officials already.
Well, I don't think anyone, very few people have seen the master plan. I don't think any of the taxpayers have.
The county has copies that were prepared for it in 2000, and this is our
The
copy.
judge might want to have copies for at least the county
If the
commission.
county's copy isn't available, we'd be glad to make a copy and send it to you.
Does the county have a copy of that? Do you have a copy, Barbara?
No.
Does the county have a copy of the master plan?
Should be at the clerk's office.
Do you know, Carl? Pete?
I don't think anybody.
Have y'all seen a master plan?
I
Tracy?
have not.
Barbara, you haven't seen a master plan? So James hasn't seen it? Does that bother anybody? That these commissioners haven't seen the master plan?
Not anybody. There's very few.
But
Well,
nobody's seen it.
There's a master plan, there's also a set of drawings
There's a
that are
master plan where,
this-
ma'am?
Pardon me?
Where is the master plan, besides the one you have in the chair?
I don't know
None
where
of
the
these
county-
people have
It's
seen
a
it.
master plan. I don't know where the county keeps the
that should bother
drawings
you.
that they paid.
It really should.
$75,000.
These people that are gonna vote on this have not seen the master plan. They're voting on something that they know nothing about.
Wait a second,
I mean-
excuse me. We're not educated to vote. How come James and Carl got to vote on it before they saw a master plan? We can't have it both ways.
I think you've got a problem bigger than the restoration of the courthouse
James and
here.
Carl haven't seen the master plan, and they voted for it, but we're not educated. We're asking for this stuff to educate us, but somebody's already made votes without being educated. So don't knock us for
But we
something
can't
that-
fix what happened before,
We
but
still need
now,
to-
let's
They
let's
need
be
the
educated
plan.
so we can know.
They got to see something before they can vote on it.
Was the master plan not filed in the county clerk, she's clerk of the court?
No, how'd you go in his office and when they didn't see it? And the Secretary of Sylvia wouldn't let anybody
I don't
involved.
think that the judge has it without him being
Get a little
here.
rowdy here, kind of hold it down a little bit, we're trying to get through this.
In answer to that question, I've not been asked to look for a master plan that's filed in the county clerk's office, nor has anyone been down there to look for one. So we don't know if it's down there.
Pardon?
I said, I've not been asked to look for the master plan in the county clerk's office, nor has anyone else been down there to look for one. So it probably is filed down there if it was done in 2000.
It's there, it should be.
And I'm trying to be helpful here, but in addition to the master plan, the relevant documents also include the round 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, 6 grant applications,
She has been asked for it.
which were submitted to our office and are supported by resolutions of the Commissioners Court. And there is a set of documents that was prepared by Fisher Heck that's much more detailed than the master plan, which is the construction documents for the restoration of this building, which is the ultimate project that we've
Who
been
was the
talking
judge
about.
then that was presented
That,
to?
that,
Judge Pavelli?
Yes.
no, that was completed in September of 2007 in time for our round 5 grant application.
Yeah, that's
I have documents from that time, and it's 2007, February 28, 2007. They signed this whole block over to the historical.
When you say, excuse me, the block, so
Well-
you're saying that, so are we, which part is the easement on? Does it include the annex or does it not include the annex?
The easement includes the historic site of the courthouse, which is this block,
So it doesn't
Not
include the annex?
the block that is the annex itself.
It includes the jail. I can't do nothing
Can
with the
that-
jail because it's on
Can
the
that be
board.
modified? Ms. Fleming,
I
can
can't do
that,
nothing to
can
the
that
outside. I
easement
can
be
work on the
modified,
inside.
say so
but
many
can't do the
feet
outside.
past the courthouse towards the jail and so many feet past the courthouse towards the annex? Can that easement be modified instead of saying the courthouse square? Because the courthouse square doesn't define anything.
She said there used to be a road over here that was, it's not there.
Well, there must be some easement. I mean, there must be something.
We spent a long time in good faith trying to determine
And I
what
believe
was
that,
the
Ms.
site
Fleming.
of
I
the
believe
historic.
that. That's without, I think, that's without a doubt.
You do not look like a criminal.
It's, well, you know, you can't judge a book by its cover.
If those 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 grant applications cannot be located here, can we get copies from the historical commission? Simple. My next question is, which I've been trying to ask for a little while, assuming grant funds are available this next biennium, in 5 bienniums, whenever they become available, if Karnes County has accepted and proceeds with phase 1 of this courthouse restoration, what percentage is the likelihood of us receiving funding for our phase 2?
Very high.
Thank you.
Did you want Currently, the grant score is the 4th highest grant application at 185 points.
And did we receive additional points by granting the easement?
You've already received those
Right, but
points.
there were,
Yes, there were points
based on what
associated
you
with the
were willing to give,
easement.
is you got extra points.
Absolutely. 20 points were associated with granting an easement in perpetuity. 2 points were associated with the state archaeological landmark designation. 2 points were associated with the RTHL designation. So the county, as a matter of fact, I thought I printed that and maybe in my briefcase, but I have the history of all the scores that Karnes County received in its previous applications, and y'all started off at like 120 something. And you have just consistently improved the application over the course of time to where, you know, it's now one of the outstanding applications, literally, I mean, right up there toward the top. And if we have any funding in this next grant cycle, we are